Hey guys, this is Jonathan McCormack. I'm an attachment specialist over in New York. And this video is going to be about using touch to heal attachment wounds. I've done videos, I don't know if I put them up on sensei focusing touch, things like that, very sensual. This is just touch in general. And I actually believe, and I don't give a guided meditation for accepting pleasure, I believe this is really important. We're actually incredibly touch-starved. And, I mean, it's incredible. I know elderly that go to the doctors just so someone touches them, just so they can feel something. A lot of the elderly, they're starting to give them chickens, just so they can pet, just something. And in a relationship, how often do we really focus on touch as a means of intimacy? It's a great way to get attuned with someone. So I'm going to be talking about creating a sensory body map, how to stimulate the skin receptors, the building blocks of touch, the felt experience, how to get into self, that self energy. They'll talk about healing touch, which is kind of the art of empathic attunement, and nurturing touch, which is really about the gift of unconditional love. What a loving thing to give someone and to receive. This really builds intimacy. A lot of this stuff you can find from Lori Brotto. She did a book, the Better Sex Through Mindfulness workbook, Cultivating Desire. She has a lot of good things to say. When I think of touch, I think of poetry, naturally. I think of Philip Larkin. He has this poem called When First We Faced and Touching Showed. It goes, when first we faced and touching showed, how well we knew the early moves behind the moonlight and the frost, the excitement and the gratitude. There stood how much our meeting owed to other meetings and to other loves. The decades of a different life that opened past your inches closed eyes belonged to others, lavished and lost. Nor could I hold you hard enough to call my years of hunger strife back for your mouth to colonize. Admit it, and the pain is real. But when did love not try to change the world back to itself? No cost, no past, no people else at all. Only what meeting made us feel so new and gentle, sharp, and strange. I really love that last line, so new, gentle, sharp, that gentleness, that tenderness, and strange, So when creating a sensory body map, in general, you go on to learn touch preferences, We all come to relationships with personal expectations. And oftentimes we kind of fail to realize this person has their own unique sensitivities, So one thing you can do is kind of just take an inventory of each other's bodies. You can just laying down, giver, receiver, that type of deal. And you can really just map out, these are the areas that I'm receptive to, These are the areas I'm comfortable with, There's regions in you that hunger to be touched, There's other regions that are more sensitive, more uncomfortable, There's some ways that the touch feels good, But we're not always talking about pleasing a partner. We're talking about getting to know them. So some of us need deep pressure with an active rhythm simply to register the pleasure. Others like a light, slow touch. And this is a great adventure, just getting to know, which do you prefer? When did we ever ask, I mean, we know, but when do we ever ask, Another thing is, I talk about this, the light touch, that's going to be different in different parts of the body, I mean, there's touch receptors in the skin are unevenly distributed, There's concentrated in the palm, in the mouth, other places, and so that touch is actually going to change with those places, So First thing to be clear before you even try this with the partners, this is not a sexual encounter. You are not trying to, no orgasm, no getting off. You're not. What you're trying to do is get your partner to relax into themselves. To know, this is the feeling you want your partner to have, not sexual stimulation, but to know that you are there for them and you are getting to know them, you know. Part of that's verbalizing, letting them know, you know. How healthy your sex life is, or just your sexual health. I'll know that from what ability you have to talk to your partner about these things. You know, could you, I'll ask you, could you talk to your partner about your touch wants, needs, your fears and worries? That will tell you how strong the relationship is, because we all have those fears and worries, you know. As a giver, if you're in the giver, you want to invite feedback, you know, as you explore the contours of his or her body. You really want to get familiar. You don't want to guess here, though. You know, obviously you'll see responses, but you want verbal feedback. You want this to be dialogue with touch, mind, heart, and voice. This is all part of the attunement and the communion. When you first do this, you're going to go slow. Give your partner time to react, to feel safe enough to verbalize their responses. Your job, just listen. Be open to feedback. That's tough. No, your hands in it. But this is great. You're getting to know each other. You want to know. Open, free. This is playful. So when you get the feedback, though, you actually have to be willing to do it, to listen to it, even stop. Like, no, stop. What? No, stop. No. You're just going to stop. You know, this is an exploration. No one's going to be perfect, you know. And it's easy. It's easy, you know. You might very well, especially if someone's had a trauma or a lot of repression, experience a partner who's suffered touch violations, you know, and they feel inadequate, or and they're going to feel rejected. Oftentimes, like, oh, I can't tell him or her that I'm like this, that this is uncomfortable. Boy, that wouldn't seem, but this is just going to be about fun, you know. So for that, though, they might be hesitant, but there are questions you can ask, you know, just to communicate their desire, you know. Ask, boom, they're laying there. Where would you like me to touch you? Ask, what would you like me to do? This is all about you. You're just going to give them 30 minutes free. Show me. How about that? Show me. Show me where to touch you and how to touch you. You know, so ask as you're doing it. Don't be like, yeah, I know exactly. Is this the right amount of pressure? Is this too much? You're going to ask. Do you want more? Would you like me to change? Where would you like me to touch you next? Those are the questions. You got like 5 questions there. And you're just going to ask them, you know. If you're the receiver, you're the one receiving, that's a risk. I mean, this is one of the things this is something you do once you're in a more committed relationship. And this is a risk about talking about what feels good to you, you know. Part of this is some people are a little embarrassed to verbalize. I get that. You can also just use sounds. You know, let him know, let her know that feels good. You know, boom, that does not feel good. You can do that verbally or non-verbally. You know, you can always stretch and move your body around. Like, yeah, this way, moron. You know, little. And if your partner cares for you, and you're like, I don't want to ask, I don't want to. Believe it or not, their partner cares. They want to know. They want to know what pleases you. And they'll be grateful. If they're real, they'll be grateful, you know. We're so out of touch with our own bodies. One thing you can use is a pleasure rating scale 1 to 10. And minus would be for discomfort. And let them know, like, ooh, 5, 6, that's a 10. Boy, you really want to get to know each other's bodies, you know. And you're just going to map their play. That's the body map. That's what it is. I mean, you can get real complicated into it, but that's what it is. This feels really good. That's a 10. This is a 1. This is a whatever. Taking your time, get to know each other. That's all. The nervous system, I mean, it's a world of its own, you know. When you do this, I would do so with the respect, you know. Because the way you give your touch, whether it's slow or fast, hard, soft, the way in which you are with your touch is going to reveal your own sensitivity, your own capacity for attention. And it's going to announce your intent. Your touch will let them know what your intentions are. If your intentions are for this, that's going to come right through with your touch. We're aligning our body with our minds and our souls and our hearts, So you're going to start off slow. That's how you begin the building blocks of touch, slow. Kind of like announcing yourself, like, hey, I'm here. And you want to give the receiver some time, because you know how it is. You're going to be nervous. You're going to be self-conscious. But to give the person time to focus inward. Allow the brain to orient to the inner experience. You're trying to create an atmosphere, a restful atmosphere with your touch. You're trying to create that, And you just ask, would they like to hold your hand and position it? I would start off by, where do you want to be touched? And then put your hand there and don't move it. Just motionless. Just let them feel the weight. Let them feel your heat and your skin. This is powerful. Simple physical contact with full attention. And this is a great practice because you're getting attuned not just to them, but to yourself. Full attention. Loving attention. And people will know your intentions. And this is a loving attention. That is so powerful. I am focused just on you and this part with love. So just hold it there, motionless. And as it's motionless, just relax into yourself. Pay attention to your own breath. Allow your breath to become full and deep. Motionless. Look at your partner. Pay attention to their breathing. Pay attention to the rhythms. The deep sighs. That's relaxation. Take a few moments, even a few minutes, and then ask, what are you experiencing? And then listen carefully to the feedback. What are you experiencing? Just my hand right here. We haven't even moved yet, And if you're the receiver, this is the time to receive, right? Receive your partner's attention. This is your time. The gift that's been given to you. Feel. What is it you need? What is it you want? This is the time you can ask for it, Focus inwards. What changes in your body is happening? Let your partner know. How does that feel? And you can place their hand, a hand riding on this spot, that spot, and share, like, oh, I'm feeling this way. I'm feeling that way. Now I'm feeling this. You're sharing, you're verbalizing, you're just focusing inward. And you'll actually be surprised that some parts of you is very responsive to light stroking. Slow, And then change the feeling of the finger gently stroking, change it hard or softer, You're going to use your fingertips. Fingertips have something like 9,000 corpuscles per square inch. A lot of sensitivity, You're going to try to light stroke to carefully delineate some areas. Some parts of their body are just so rich, so responsive. We know these areas, the cheeks, lips, palms, one or two other places I've heard. So the head, the face, and the cheeks, that's very sensitive to tender stroking. And that's where you want to start. Feel everything. Boy, even lightly stroke your partner's hair. Activate the follicles, And as a receiver, you're just going to let your partner explore your body. Just let him or her know what you most enjoy. You're going to want to alternate pressure and release. Pressure and release. That's a technique that this gradual skin indentation, and then release. With constant pressure, it stimulates pressure receptors and keeps the conductivity of the nerves active. So, you're pressing down, release, pressing down, release. Light to moderate pressure allows for kind of a penetrating touch. And this can give a very profound sense of connection. You feel this person there. Direct your pressure inward towards the center of the area. And then release. And then press down and release, When you're giving, start with the large areas. Start with the belly, like the lower belly. Start at the lower belly. Then the inner thighs. Back. Places that are more forgiving for experimentation, Use the flat of your hand. Light pressure. Check with your partner. How does this feel? How does this feel? Give your partner time. I keep saying slow. This is going to be real slow. Slow. Gradually increase and then decrease the pressure. And have your partner tell you their preferences. They like it hard or soft or whatever, Cup your hands around their arms and legs. Squeeze them along their whole length, Bring your partner, if your partner has trouble connecting with themselves, squeezing the arms down the length in a very gentle way can actually help them become embodied. And that's very important, especially for attachment wounds, Okay, well now, after you understand your partner's preferences, then you can just go. You can move your fingers to explore all sorts of ways, those naughty ways, What you're doing as the receiver is you're guiding this other person to become the lover of your dreams, You're getting to know yourself. What's your job? To share. Just to share what you're experiencing. That's it, You can use friction. There's several ways of applying friction. You can rub the surface of the skin. You can press into the skin using pressure to stretch and move the skin, against the deeper levels of tissues, And friction can be very arousing, but it can also irritate and can also numb. So friction you really want to use judiciously, That's like a little special, That's like the sprinkles on top, As giver, how do you want to move? Well, we're going to experiment, You move backward and forward, side to side. What's fun is to create unexpected rhythms, moves that keep the body and the brain interested. You're going to make this interesting because you want to see all the responses, Varied degrees of pressure. You can move your hand in small circles, large circles. Go counterclockwise and then counterclockwise. And they have to anticipate, where is he going next? Where is she going next? And you just create unexpected movements just to kind of keep that person curious. That's part of the true self. The real self is someone who's very curious, and you're bringing out this curiosity. Receiver, again, your focus is just to receive sensations and feelings and let your partner know, either through sounds, through movements, or words, or all three. So ultimately this is about the felt sense experience, and this is really learning to sense self energy. Yourself is on board when you are curious and you are playful and you are compassionate, So before this, you make space, maybe a little meditation, a little body scan, but it can take some time just to get comfortable, clear yourself any mental static, Any problems you have, memories, those can fade away. And you just remind yourself that your body sensations are the destination. And you just put those sensations at the focus of your attention. And I would do that. I would actually tell your thoughts, like, please, thoughts, please listen to me. I would actually tell them to listen to you, And your job is to find this felt sense, If you're receiving, you just focus your full attention on those sensations. Ask yourself, where in your body are you experiencing these sensations? Do they have a particular quality? A movement? These are the questions you're asking yourselves. And whatever your body's response is, you just let them exist, those impressions, whatever they are, no judgment. And then focus as much as you can on the sensations that are most pleasing to you. Those are going to be your focus, you know. And then as you're receiving, look at your partner. Can you kind of perceive your partner's intention, what they're trying to do, what they're trying to go for? Can you see how it's matched with their caring? Can you see their excitement being in contact with you? You know. And after a while, just kind of observing, you're just kind of observing yourself and your responses. Okay, try to find matching words or images. Where are the words? Where are the images to describe the emotions coming from the sensations, emotions, images, words. And when you get that match between sensation and image or sensation and word, it will feel right in your belly. This is called resonating. This is a real thing. Sarah Payton's pretty good with it. You feel something resonating. There's a resonance between what you're thinking, feeling. And it'll click. It'll be like, click. Oh, this feels right. Resonating engages the body and mind in kind of a reciprocal reverberation. Just like a sensation of expansion in your chest. Okay, what does that feel like? Tell me. That feels like this, okay, I have an expansion in my chest, and that feels like, I love you. And you think those words, as soon as those words match, if they match that feeling, boom, you just get this feeling of warm pleasure, and it just spreads from that area of your heart throughout your body. Oh, and then you might experience an enhanced awareness of the love you have for your partner. And you experience that. Where are you feeling that? You know? And you're alternating your attention between the bodily sensations and the words or images. And your mind witnesses your body's experience. And your body expresses your mind. A dance. I know that's a lame analogy, but indeed it is. Boy, there are those, though, on the receiving end that are just very active mentally, and their minds just rush in, and they just get words and senses. Whoa. Slow down, you know, just be patient with yourself. And if you get lost, just try to reconnect with gentle presence, no pressure. The resonance will come back. The resonance will come back. You just be patient, just bring your mind back. And you let go of any expectations or judgment, you know. If you're engaged in a loving experience, whatever happens is welcome. Whatever arises is welcome. You just breathe and you let it develop. And then you share with your partner. You're just focusing on that felt sense. And by doing this, you really do develop a deeper relationship with your bodies. You're able to invite pleasure in. And you're developing that relationship with that other person. The two main types of touch we're talking about is nurturing touch will be number one. Nurturing touch is unconditional love. And it's a gift. It's a beautiful gift both to give and receive. And the aim of nurturing touch is to connect, respond to, comfort, and fulfill the unmet emotional needs of the inner child within you. We all have an inner child. If you're into parts work, IFS, that's what I do. I do parent figure protocol. I do IFS and parts work. One way to think about it is there's these wounded children. They have all these unmet needs. Touch is one way to fill those needs, and you're seeing what those needs are. Nurturing touch, given by a loving partner, is so valuable to address this. We all have so many breaches in our relational matrix, and those cannot be reached by verbal means. They can't. You can tell the person X, and they can read that, and someone can tell them. This will only be healed in relationship with touch. You know? The giving partner just holds this consistent, loving intention, free of sexual pressure, no sexual pressure, you know. And the receiver's body and mind just learns to be the center of someone else's caring attention. Boy, when was the last time you were the center of someone's attention and felt completely safe to take it in? This is a wonderful practice, you know. In the same way that a loving mother doesn't pressure her child to respond to her needs, the giving partner doesn't impose any goal or outcome. The giving partner just listens and makes room inside themselves for their partner's response. There's no expectations. We're not trying to give order. We're not trying to do this. We're not trying to do that. We're just being with one another. And after a while, a woman even told me, I was like, how's this going with this? And she goes, you know, it's funny now when I go sex, I'm not going to perform. I'm not trying to give a good ooh to ooh and ah him. I'm not trying to get orgasm. I'm going to spend time with my partner. And those other things do happen. But that's what she's there for, you know. So as part of, you want to practice nurturing touch, one of the great ways is a quiet holding. This is when a holding, a stroking, or even a soft rocking. I'm telling you, holding, stroking, just the soft rocking, that alone allows for nonverbal healing to occur. You know, what happens is it's that those emotions are contained within the hands of the giver, and that body can just relax and understand itself a little bit more. Like, oh, I can relax here. I'm being held. I'm being soothed. Oh, it can allow itself to feel those things. The giver's goal is to stimulate the receiver's sense memories of trust and love and comfort. I do ideal parent figure protocol where we kind of do this imageal work. We're like, oh, notice the ideal figure, and now notice how it is to be so delighted in. They're looking at you with such warmth. Or parts work, we find the wounded child. Do you see this 8-year-old wounded? What do you think of it? Oh, my heart goes out to you. Tell it that. You know, your goal in this is to stimulate the receiver's sense memories of trust and love and comfort. We've all felt a little trust, and leave a little bit. We can imagine it. We want to bring that. We want to strengthen them. That makes the sex better, sure, but it also makes the emotional intimacy available. So as a giver, you do want to give your undivided attention. Take a couple breaths, check in with yourself, and you just kind of want to establish this accepting contact. It helps, you know, I'd like to center myself in my heart. I start to think of the love and the feelings from my partner, you know. Beforehand, you can visualize moving from your heart to your hands, to your whole body. Again, we're going to be clear. There will be no sex. There's no penetration here. That's not going to happen. So we can just focus on the feelings, you know. Give yourself that freedom, that space, you know. And you just ask your partner, what do you need? And you let them know, I am here and I've set down this time for your pleasure. And we have all the time in the world. And we're going to do this for as long as you need. Today we have 30 minutes, okay? And if that's not enough, we'll do it again Thursday for another, so whatever. But you're going to say that. You're actually going to verbalize it. Do both of you know it? Probably. Verbalize it. You're going to say that. And you're going to follow through, you know? If your partner needs more time than you have to give, you plan more periods as needed, you know? When that need is filled, the receiver will naturally move on all their own to the next phase of psychosexual development, as we say. That's it. You can't force this. They just, when they're comfortable at that stage, boom, they will naturally move on. But you really do have to create that space where they can take as long as they wish. You know, if you're receiving, you have to understand that your early needs are implicitly present. Your early needs are already there in your body. They're there as nonverbal yearnings, but they're in there. And eventually you learn to trust your felt sense to guide you to discover what your body desires. You know? So a request might be, anything, I want to be 2 years old for the next hour. Just hold me tight, tell me how much you love me. Wow, weird. Yeah, it'd be weird if it was sexual. But remember, nothing sexual. You're just holding your baby girl, telling her, I love you for 2 hours. And you're speaking to that wounded child, or vice versa, whatever. In that case, there's going to be we're talking about nurturing touch. Nurturing touch. There's going to be gentle stroking and rocking. And generally, you want to stroke with broad, even pressure, letting the entire surface of your hand uniform. You know, this is how you comfort. This is how you give connection, you know. You might even want to imagine your hand melting into your partner. And you just gently stroke your partner's head and their belly or their back. Those back rubs are great, you know. And you just invite them to lean. You can even have them lean into your body. And you just rock them. You're just soothing. And you're just with each other. And it's beautiful. That's it, you know. You become the caring and protective container that they didn't have. They didn't have growing up. And it's your overseeing presence that allows this trust to develop. Can you be that container? You know, do you have the strength? It's a hell of a touching thing if you do this and you kind of like look up and you realize your partner is consciously watching over you just in this loving, protective way. Undivided attention. Trying to heal those wounds. Ooh, she just melts, you know. And that feeling like, yes, I can do this. And I can provide this and I'm there for, that feels good too. And then there's healing touch. This is really kind of, as I say, the art of empathy. We're doing empathic attunement. And this healing touch, it respects the body's own time. Again, it can't be rushed. And you're going to just keep increasingly sense your partner's bodily responses within your own body. Ooh, I touch this. They do this. How do I feel? This empathetic attunement, empathic attunement. You're feeling them. You're noticing them, and you're seeing how it affects you. So you're in contact with both. And this is a healing intent. When you do healing touch, you set this intention like this is to heal each other. And this healing intent grows the trust. And this will grow the trust for the capacity for sexual intimacy. Sometimes with couples who've been together for a long time, that intimacy is dead. This is why it started. Like, okay, let's start with some healing touch. You know, what's important here? Your attention, the quality of attention. People say money makes the world go round. There's the capitalistic economy. Indeed. There's one or two others too. One of them is the economy of attention. And women want men's attention. And vice versa. And this is an entire economy, you know. And the quality of your attention is that beautiful gift you can give to her or him, you know. So in these things, you're going to set aside your own needs. This is all about them. Your healing intention will require you to have the ability to focus your full attention on your partner. So you just quiet yourself. Become still water. And once you're centered and still, full attention on them. What impressions are flowing through you? What imagery? What's coming up in your mind? What insights? What cues you're picking up in yourself that might help your partner? At the least, what shifts are you noticing inside you? So you're going to be with them, trying to heal, and you're seeing what's coming up with you. You know, and whatever feelings emerge for you or your partner, you're just going to try to remain still and responsive. As a giver, remember you're the stable container, and you're allowing your partner to explore their emotions. And as your partner's trust, I'll tell you, this starts one way, but as your partner's trust grows, truly grows, a lot of things can come up. Emotions of shame, emotions of anger, grief. This is the gift of healing touch. It's the opportunity for your partner to realize that they can come to you and be supported with anything. These emotions really do come up. Women get very emotional. I meant to. As a receiver, if you're receiving, well, you're just sharing your physical and emotional needs, and you're taking your time. You're to identify what you need first. Boy, a lot of times we don't know. So we're just going to take our time. Remember, the goal is just the process, just to relax. So just let them. And then tell them, this is how I want to be held. This is how I would like to be touched. Define the focus of the intention you would like him or her to hold while tending you. This is why I'd like you to, I want you to just be thinking connection with me or healing this, whatever it is. A lot of times they'll say, I don't want physical contact. That's fine. Okay. Just feeling your partner near you can be contact enough from the beginning. That's beautiful. And don't get insulted. Like, I just, no, hey, this is the safe zone. I know you will feel a little, perhaps like, oh, what's the hell's the matter with me? I don't know, maybe. But no. This isn't about you. This really is about them. These are these wounded child parts. And you're going to allow them that space. But also, you're going to be honest with what you're feeling, experiencing the fear of being a burden, of taking too much time, of having to perform, to be loved. All these feelings can come up. And these fears are the roadblocks to deepening intimacy. You're going to be looking for them. Do I have a fear of being a burden? Is this a fear of like, I don't want to ask for things because I don't want to be too much, Oh, I have to perform. As you receive your partner's healing presence, it's that hope that you trust in him or her. It's that you see they're present. And when you see that they're present, those roadblocks can dissolve. Because you see, you don't have to perform. You don't have to fear being burdened. The other person's delighted to be there for you and with you. And you see that, you get that emotional correction, And as your trust grows, various experiences, will unfold, and you can just share them, Okay, if you want to do this by yourself, well, you probably know what I'm going to say. Just slowly begin to explore your own body. There's no apply body lotion, oil, whatever. Do it with your eyes closed, and just notice what different parts of your body feel like. You can do this yourself. The sensations, the shapes, the temperature, the texture. And you notice all the sensations. You keep breathing, and when your attention has wandered, you notice and go back to the sensations gently, kindly. And you're just going to be kind to yourself. Mindfulness isn't about noticing compassionately. It's also bringing it back, noticing that sometimes you don't do that. And being compassionate with that, And then you just after the touching, you just bring your awareness and feelings back into your arms, your legs, your body, and you just touch yourself. You notice, what mental sensations am I aware of right now? Is there a feeling that accompanies these? That's mostly it, I'm reminded of Sexton. She killed herself, the great poet. And I have a buddy who drank with her once, which I'm very jealous of. But Sexton was a hell of a woman. Likely a fearful avoidant. And she has this beautiful poem about touch. It goes like this. 4 months my hand was sealed off in a tin box. Nothing was there but the subway railings. Perhaps it is bruised, I thought, and that is why they have it locked up. You could tell time by this, I thought, like a clock, by its 5 knuckles and the thin underground veins. It lay there like an unconscious woman, fed by tubes she knew not of. The hand had collapsed, a small wood pigeon that had gone into seclusion. I turned it over, and the palm was old, its lines traced like fine needlepoint. It stitched into the fingers. It was fat and soft and blind in places, nothing but vulnerable. And all this is metaphor. An ordinary hand, just lonely, for something to touch that touches back. The dog won't do it. Her tail wags in the swamp for a frog. I'm no better than a case of dog food. She owns her own hunger. My sisters won't do it. They live in school except for buttons and tears running down like lemonade. My father won't do it. He comes in the house, and even at night he lives in a machine made by my mother and well oiled by his job. The trouble is that I'd let my gestures freeze. The trouble is not in the kitchen or the tulips, but only in my head. My head. Then all this became history. Your hand found mine. Life rushed to my fingers like a blood clot. Oh, my carpenter, the fingers are rebuilt. They dance with yours. They dance in the attic in Vienna. My hand is alive all over America. Not even death will stop it. Death shedding your blood. Nothing will stop it. For this is the kingdom, and the kingdom come. I like that poem because it shows, even in marriage, even in a relationship, being together, you don't even realize how dead things can become. And it's the touch, the tenderness, the heart, the soul moving through the fingers that can resurrect these things. So give a small meditation. This is about accepting pleasure, getting in touch with pleasure, embodying pleasure. So just start with a quick body scan. If you want, you can just get into the meditative posture. And you can do this laying down or sitting up. And we're going to start with 3 deep breaths. And you can take a super deep breath. Hold it below the belly. And slowly release. Good. Take another super deep breath. Hold it below the belly and slowly release. Good. Last one. Super deep breath. Hold it below the belly and slowly release. Good. And now that we're a little more comfortable, a little more relaxed, and a little more at ease, I would just invite you, start bringing your awareness into the body, bringing your awareness in, and down. And you can just focus on your breathing. Just breathing in and out. This type of relaxation happens all the time. This is a state of our minds can slip into and out of as easily as switching off a light. You can just allow space for this special time and just notice the weight of your body against the earth and how gravity holds it in place. And at this moment, gravity can be your friend and trusted ally. And you just let yourself be heavy as it pulls you so gently into its embrace. And here you can let out a deep sigh of relief. Knowing you get to experience how easy it is to relax, how effortless it is to just let your breath come in filling your lungs and smoothly back out your mouth. And you just breathe in, and the air expands your chest, and you breathe out. And you breathe in like a wind in the sail, and you breathe out of your mouth as a gust pushing you along to unknown shores. Breathing in, and you feel your legs and your arms, and they might even stretch a little bit, and then come right back to comfort. And you know the slow, steady, healing breath as you relax more fully. And perhaps you find it comfortable to step away, step back slightly, and see from your mind's eye your resting body. Then you can appreciate for a moment how much your body and mind do in the course of the day, letting your breath take you deeper. And you can try to resist a feeling of gratitude and wonder for how your body is made. But it's just so marvelous to take a moment and appreciate how your skin grows and stretches and shrinks and contracts, and how your muscles can lift objects or just release them and you can just release your muscles as if they're made of butter, and how your eyes can absorb a rainbow. Or even close down into a luxurious darkness. The abilities of your mind and body are a vast, endless ocean of possibility and discovery. And it's a wonderful cycle to rediscover that which you have forgotten. What is old is new, and what is new is familiar. Making a memory come and go is just like riding away a memory. It can be a sensation, like a tingle of the kiss on the cheek. Or how the wind can stir and shift the hairs on the back of your neck. And we all know pleasure is a natural part of life. And pleasure comes and it goes away, and it comes back. And it is a cycle you can observe. Just like sitting by the ocean or a tranquil lake, close enough to hear the gentle, deepening rumble of a wave as it approaches and coming closer, and you know what to expect, and you delight in the feeling and the sound of that water stirring about the sand and pebbles. And if you've ever been there on the shore, or have even seen such places in pictures or photographs, you can remember it feels so good to hear the waves coming in to the shore. And there's something about that sound that feels heavenly and intimate. And you may know it from another source or memory. And here's a way of coming, and you know it started somewhere far away. You don't know how long it's traveled to get here, but you know it's powerful and friendly. And there's something just so right about it. And pleasure is like a wave you can feel. Pleasure anywhere you like. Can't you feel it in your toes or in the backs of your knees? You can feel it in your belly, like you have just sipped a warm, soothing beverage, and you can feel that there's a swirling stream of light dancing from your chest to your arms and fingertips, because a pleasure like this is just so delightful to your senses. And it is safe, as you are completely safe and protected and encouraged to feel exactly as you'd like to feel. And you just let pleasure live where it wants by your choice. And it's the most rewarding and satisfying experience because you are in control and free to let it roam and ignite places in your body that accept its touch. And those places in your body blossom. And it can build as much as you'd like, flowing into whatever areas you'd like as you sit and observe the building and falling of the waves. You feel the gentle warmth coming up from the ground as if there's a soft, springy moss. And it adjusts perfectly to the temperature, almost like the breeze coming off the water. And behind you from the land is sweet and fragrant and refreshing to your senses. And you know, as soon as that wave touches you, it's going to feel so good. You can right now try to resist the lovely power of those waves washing so gently up. They're about to touch. They're about to touch. And they begin to touch those waves, your toes. And then they come up to your ankles. And it's all right to try to resist the pleasure as that wave gently laps up to your knees. And then the back of your thighs, like a warm, silky glove, flowing over and into your belly and swirling up through your chest. And as the wave comes and you open toward it and you try to resist this deep, satisfying surrender after all the wave has come from far, far off and is strong and powerful and meant for you. And you look forward to feeling it washing through you, washing through your fingers and up your arms until that beautiful flowing sensation is cradling your neck and the back of your head. And with the lightest touch, breathing deeply, completely relax. Just as gently, you feel the wave recede back into its greater body of water, coming and going and coming, and the wave pulls back as it should, and it tugs on you just a little, enough for you to feel its pull and its power, and it leaves you even more relaxed than before, and even more open and expressive and delighted, and even more sensitive to the sensations you may have temporarily forgotten, but now feel as if they are truly and fully yours to experience in all the ways you enjoy and in all the places you wish that enjoyment to live, knowing this is you, and you listen for the sound of the next wave, fully relaxed and deeply alive. And here you feel your lips tingle and the tips of your ears warm by the sound, a sound you know that feels like a much old, longed for friend. Embracing you enough is more than enough, and you know there are as many ways as you'd like, but they are bubbling, misty waves and tall, deep, emerald waves, and you can stay exactly as you are, imagining those waves and how good it will feel as they reach you on the shore. And as the next wave approaches, you sink even deeper, peaceful, and open, and perfectly secure, and welcoming the wave that greets you again right at the bottom of your feet, lapping up, upward, caressing, and supporting, and refreshing, and rocking you so gently that even the smallest motions back and forth, coming into and going out of, and it might seem as if when you see the wave further out in the distance that it is rushing to meet you. But when you look closer, you notice it doesn't seem to have it. It doesn't seem that there's time. And it can slow down or speed up as if it likes having full control and loving the experience of being a wave. And you notice there are other waves beside it and in front of it and behind it. And the truth of them is transparent as those deep, full breaths, except there's no place they need to be. There is nothing for them to do. Being is enough. Breathing is enough. And just coming and going is enough. And if you can imagine this, at this moment, feeling so full and tingling with the way, feeling as if time has stopped or ceased to exist. And you remember, there's nothing to cling to. There's nothing. The waves, just the waves. Just the waves and the feeling of pleasure where and when you like. Perhaps you can at any moment of any day slip into this feeling as long as you'd like to, or stretch it out as long as you need, because seconds can feel like days and hours can feel like minutes when there's no time. And when there's no need to rush toward or away, you can just let the wave in and you let the wave out, and the wave goes in and coming out beautiful, just that feeling of beautiful pleasure. And you can try to resist it, but it's just pleasure, and it's all yours. And you can try to resist the drawing back of such gratification, and you try to resist the delicious sensations of wanting and of being appeased, all of which are forever within your control. What better thing than resisting your personal pleasure? In fact, it's perfectly all right to fail, as if there were such a thing which you could fail at, resisting pleasure. And you can fail at creating tension. It could be said that failing is a wonderful thing. And failing brings such wonderful things that you unconsciously and consciously understand at this moment. And perhaps it can be said that it is all cyclical, like the wave on the ocean and the beach. And perhaps they are one coming and going and going and coming. And if this is true, and it might be true that something was missing from the cycle until you took the time to notice what felt some new and familiar thing, looking at it from this place where there is no time, no rush, no worries, as if there ever was you may begin to realize what was missing from the cycle was you. And it's you who found it. You who completed it. And now that you know, you can complete this way to this beautiful, satisfying cycle as often as you like, that you can make it grow and shrink, expand and contract, and you can let these waves live inside of you for as long as you'd like, and knowing it's perfectly safe and free, and you can keep it or you can share it with another, knowing it cannot be anything other than what you wish and encourage and make room for in this space. And knowing these things, it is perfectly all right to drift off now into a deeper and more restful sleep, breathing a little more deeply, even deeper. And you can just allow these feelings and these waves of pleasure to live inside your body and to move there. And you are this pleasure. And you give this pleasure. And you allow this pleasure. Now, letting your awareness return to your limbs. And upon returning to your full sense of consciousness, you're going to feel recharged and ready. And when you're ready, taking your time, your own sweet time, I'm going to count 5 to 1. And when you're 1, you'll be back safe and embodied and ready. And 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Alrighty, everyone. That's my pitch for touch. You can work with me at